Okay, I'd like to go to hear public comment on this item. For members of the public that wish to speak to this item, please come to the podium, state your name for the record, and keep your comments at 3 minutes, please. That's how government works, you know.
You folks give me a job.
State your name for the record,
My
please.
name's Patrick Seville. I'm with Land Bank Properties. I own a number of buildings in Old Downtown Fort Bragg. Yeah, I've been in this business for, kind of embarrassing to say, almost 35 years. And a lot of times folks like me come to guys like you and say, well, you know, we're in the greatest financial crisis of our time, and, you know, I need some special consideration for my project. My pop used to call that kind of talk blowing smoke. But I'll tell you what, I'm not blowing smoke here today. I need some help from you folks. Frank's done a really good job, and I appreciate what he's asking for you folks, and I'm just asking for a little bit more. My project, in terms of the request for an extension, is specific to the city of Fort Bragg. Picture's worth 1,000 words, I think they say, so I'm going to hand this to you. I'm going to give you one also. Basically, I submitted plans, and there's a picture attached, for a building on the corner of Redwood and Franklin at the end of last year, and it's been in processing ever since that time. It's a historically significant project. It includes 4 buildings. First phase is the corner. Old Downtown is kind of like a canvas, a painting, and there's 4 corners that are really important to Old Downtown: Main and Redwood, Laurel and Franklin, Laurel and Main, and then Redwood and Franklin. 3 of those 4 corners have structures that frame that canvas. This corner will be the last of the 4 to be put into place. I've done historic studies. I've worked with the city. I've worked with the staff here. Everybody's been very supportive of this project. I've put $150,000 into the plans. Probably the best set of plans the city's seen, other than public works projects. Anyways, the point is, my plans were done based on last year's codes, based on when I submitted. There's no financing currently to get a project of this magnitude off the ground. And what I need is a 16-month extension. I believe that's reasonable. And the real question today is, in front of you, is 12 months reasonable or 16? I'm hoping that you folks will give me 16 months. The letter attached is from the Community Development Director and discusses both her and the city manager's recommendation that I get a 16-month extension. And they're actually of the feeling that they have the authority to grant it, being that these folks subcontract to them. In any case, I'm willing to go with what you folks agree to today, but I guess I'd leave you with, in late 1999, I was instrumental in kicking off an herbal renewal in Old Downtown Fort Bragg. I'm committed to it. I love the place, and it's starting to hurt. It's been starting to hurt, and it's going to hurt some more before this thing is done. But I intend to reignite that urban renewal in 2010 with a little help from you folks. But I'll tell you what, I can't afford to let these plans lapse and then prepare new plans once again based on the new building codes. This project will not financially support it. So anyways, need your help. If you can do it, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other members of the public wishing to speak to this item, please just step forward to the podium. State your name for the record.
Barbara Reed. I support the planner's extension of time and also the extension of 16 months for the project in Fort Bragg.
Okay, other members of the public wishing to speak to the item? That's okay, just step forward, state your name for the record.
Noah Shepherd. I also own property on Franklin Street and have seen how hard it is for, in these economic conditions, for retailers and property owners. And I would like to support the extension of this project. I know that in my building, I've had 6 months where people, you know, where we had vacancies, and I think that the downtown area has a great potential and has come a long ways, but the property owners and can use all the help they can get, so I support this project.
Thank you. Please step forward.
Wendy Roberts. I believe you know what I'm going to say. I strongly support anything that you can do to support our economy on the coast and to keep our enterprises alive, where you walk around town in Mendocino right now and you're seeing stores closing, and the same in Fort Bragg. It's really dire, so do what you can. Thanks.
Thank you. One last call for public comment on this item. Any other members of the public? Seeing no one step forward, bring it back to the board for action, and we do have a motion before us. Supervisor Pinches.
Frank, are we talking about on this specific,
No, this,
I mean, does the city of Fort Bragg have the authority to do that? Do we,
I've reviewed their contract briefly with county council, and I also talked to the community development director for Fort Bragg after we received that letter. Keep in mind that the action we're taking affects the entire county, not just the city of Fort Bragg. And when I talked to her, she was not fully aware, I don't think, that there was the opportunity, even once the permit, they issue it, they still have another 2 years beyond that, in which they call for their first inspection. So we didn't want to get into a contest of who has authority over what, but she agreed that a one-year extension would be appropriate. If it becomes necessary in the future to look at it again, we can do it, but our recommendation is for 12 months.
Mr. Chairman, with that, I'd like to amend or change my motion. Instead of the 1-year extension, let's go to an 18-month extension. I don't think anybody believes probably that the economy is going to fully recover within a year anyway, so I don't think there's much. I mean, certainly if the economy turns around, people can get their financing, they're going to want to start the projects within 6 months, not 18 months. So I would like to amend my motion to cover an 18-month period.
Thank you. Supervisor Delaware?
Second would concur. A quick little comment to Supervisor Pinches is, there is somebody actually thinks the economy is going to turn around in 1 year, and that was the chair of the California Resources Board.
Oh,
She said that, oh, the economy is going to be better, and by the time these new regs kick in, so everything's going to be peachy keen. So I just thought I'd correct you a little bit there, that there is actually one person out there that believes that.
the state's going downhill at the rate of $42 million a day. That includes weekends.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Colfax?
Well, I'd like to support the idea of extending this as long out into the future as necessary in order to see the project come forward. I had the experience of living in my house when I got a notice. Now this is 35 years ago, so Frank's not responsible for this. But I got a notice from this county into which I'd recently moved about 18 months earlier. I got a notice saying, unless you start work on your house, your permit's going to be revoked. I was living in the house. The inspections had been done. When I inquired into it, I discovered that, in fact, the building inspector had in anger, walked off the job and took his records with him. I said, well, that seems to be, you have a personnel problem over there at the county, and I never heard from the county again. Somebody was embarrassed and somebody was out of line here. So I have a great deal of sympathy for people who come in. This is all